Are you ready to embrace aging with vitality and purpose? Welcome to Essential Wellness, the podcast dedicated to empowering women to live their best lives at any and every age. Join us as we explore the secrets to living and aging well with insightful conversations on health, wellness, and finding meaning, purpose, and passion in midlife and beyond. I'm your host, Dr. Mikel Segal. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Essential Wellness. And today I'm very much looking forward to our conversation. I have with me here Dr. Wendy Schofer, and she's a pediatrician and she specializes in emotional health for the entire family. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here with you. I love being connected with Vancouver. So how about that too?
Yes. And that you still need to come visit.
I do.
Now
Thank you
we've
for
done
the reminder.
We have the virtual connection and we'll do the in-person connection next time.
Absolutely.
So tell our listeners who are meeting you for the first time a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. I do a lot of improv comedy, and they have taught me to really introduce myself outside of titles and professional roles. And so I introduce myself as being a woman who loves black coffee, totally black coffee.
Me too.
The sound of laughter. There's nothing more magical than the sound of laughter. And long dog walks. I think that's just kind of like the mix of all the different things. And then, of course, as you know, I'm a pediatrician. And with this wonderful, beautiful journey that I've been on, I've gotten to this place where I'm specializing in emotional health for the whole family. And it's all the different pieces coming together. It's kind of like that thing about, how we get to be ourselves, like the full picture of ourselves, and how we can incorporate that into the work that we do. And so it's hard to make a really short introduction.
Well, I do love that introduction. As I said, I love black coffee and I do love laughter and I love long walks. I don't have a dog, but I do like walking. So thank you for that introduction. Tell me a little bit about how you got to the spot where you are now doing what you're doing.
I think with a lot of the stories that physicians tell now, and I definitely have my own version here, a lot of it has to do with professional roles and going through burnout and different burnout cycles. And, my early career was something where I was just running around, hair on fire all the time, trying to, be the best doctor, best wife, best mom, and just perpetually feeling like I just was not living up to my ideals, let alone everyone else's. And in a couple of very fortuitous decisions, at that time, I thought that I was kind of hitting a pause or kind of like jumping off, but I started exploring different things. And I found that those things really fueled me in ways that I wasn't being fueled by just running nonstop from work to kids' activities to different obligations. And it was a combination of things like discovering yoga, actually discovering that I loved weightlifting. So, like CrossFit. One day I'm just walking down the street and I hear very loud music. I hear weights dropping. I hear people cussing, and I'm like, oh, this is a place for me. Let me go find out what this is. And so it was something where I just went and I checked it out. And while at the time I thought it was a diversion, it was something where I started seeing that all these different aspects or these different things that I was exploring were actually things that I really wanted in my life. And so a lot of it was about movement and stillness. And then also, so much about nutrition. And while I am a horrible cook, my family will be the first to tell you, like, mom is not a cook. Exploring with food, just in different ways. How does my body feel with it? And eventually I discovered lifestyle medicine. Didn't know it was a thing. When I found out it was a thing, I was like, oh my gosh, other people are looking at the way that all these different aspects of your life heal and how it's all a part of it. It's not a diversion. It's actually integral to our health. And so I just started incorporating more and more of these aspects. And I was like, this is actually evolving my approach my practice as well as just my day-to-day practice in life. And over time, I found that, it wasn't something that I wanted to be switching my prescriptions from medicine to food and movement. Like, I really resist that whole thing that I know what's right for someone else. Like, that is just really the opposite of my approach to medicine. And I was realizing that it was because I wasn't really understanding the emotions that were going on behind the scenes. Like when we were trying to create habit change in the office, when we were trying to address, creating change for families. And I was like, hold on a minute, we have not had any discussion about emotion whatsoever here. And that's just the very short version of where this was really kind of evolving over time, that I wanted to incorporate all these different aspects, but not come in like a wrecking ball, because that doesn't work. Totally does not work. And the more that I leaned into what I was experiencing, the more that, going through the burnout and the stress and the exhaustion, and really naming that and finding how you can heal from it first by just naming it and like, this is what's going on, instead of trying to work harder to like outrun it. I was like, oh, hold on a minute. This has been missing in my life. How can I start really kind of sharing that and practicing in a way that I can help others really integrate this into their lives?
I love that. And I resonate with a lot of that because I had the same experience with lifestyle medicine, not really knowing that there was, as you said, it was a thing. And then just being like amazed and in awe, like, wow, I went to the first conference, and that's when I found out about coaching. And again, I was like, I never even heard of coaching like this before. So yeah,
Yeah.
the same sort of similar path in a lot of ways.
And, I love it because when like-minded souls find each other and we're like, oh, I've been on that same type of, journey, and this is how I did it too. The thing is that we take it in so many different ways.
Hmm.
It's not that we're, kind of all getting on the same path. It's like our paths all kind of cross over, and then we get to take it where we uniquely feel that this passion or these skills are what, I don't know, kind of like help us express more of who we really want to be and how we want to be in the world with our practice and our life. I think it's so beautiful. Like, this is like adult education, but
Hmm.
so much further, because we're getting to create. It's not just about receiving, it's about creating.
Yeah, you could take the information and use it in sort of the way you interpret it. So tell me about this emotional health for the whole family. What does that mean?
Yeah. I appreciate that question. Because usually people kind of look at me kind of funny. They're like, and that is, I'm like, I know, okay, this is what it really looks like. So, the concerns that I work with more than anything is with parents who have concerns about their children's weight and their growth, their eating habits, their relationship with food and body, body image concerns.
Hmm.
And, the traditional approaches, like there's plenty of tips and tricks out there, eat less, move more. And it's like,
Hmm.
it's not working. It's not working. Again, we're overlooking that missing piece, which is the emotional connection. Really
Hmm.
understanding, why do we have the habits that we have right now? Well, emotions. Like, why do we do things? Well, because we think it's going to feel good, or because we want to, avoid something that, doesn't feel so good. How often that's driving so many of our eating habits in particular. And as I was really working with families, and they were all coming in and saying, my kid's an emotional eater, as if that's like a problem, the diagnosis right there, like, okay, I already know what's going on. I'm like, that we're all emotional eaters. We all are. And when I started saying that, families would look at me and they would just kind of like exhale, like, oh, this doesn't mean that there's something broken about my child. And I think that that's really the shift that's happening here, where we're looking at how we can just understand why we do the things that we do and kind of hold there for a moment, because we all want to fix. We all want to say, the eating habits are a problem, the weight is a problem, the diagnosis is a problem, but just kind of pausing there to just kind of let it settle. Again, I use visuals so much for myself to begin with,
Hmm.
but, kind of having all of the the flurry and the chaos and things that are spinning all the time, and just letting it settle for a moment. And so I use that visual of the snow globe that you shake and it's all over the place, and just let it come down. Heck, I mean, my newsletter is called the exhale. So much of it is like, how do we just need that moment to let it settle for our own regulation before we can start helping our kids.
So you manage the parents and basically manage the parents' nervous system in a way and allow them to kind of sit and sort of get into a more parasympathetic state.
Exactly. Yeah.
As a first step.
It is absolutely the first step. I'll give you a little spoiler. Anytime I do anything that has 3 steps, the first step is always to pause.
Yeah.
Pause with an exhale. It's to counter so much of the go, 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 and how we think that the answer to address, to fix anything is to work harder and faster and right now. And we're just burning ourselves out. If you look at the experience of burnout, not as an occupational phenomenon, but really as a shared universal, phenomenon where we just are on chronic nervous system activation. We just need to let it settle in just a little bit so we can get that break for ourselves, that clarity, and then actually see what is it that's really important so you can figure out where, which step you want to take next.
Right.
It completely upends everything that we've done about weight management. About managing, the feeding and growing of healthy families. Yeah, this is completely upending all of that. And I'm honored to be that wrecking ball coming in here, but it's a beneficial wrecking ball that's saying, hey, let's bring in the wrecking ball. Thank you, Miley Cyrus. I totally have the song in my head right now.
Yeah.
But with an exhale and a pause.
An exhale and a pause. In the most calm way possible.
Yes. And with humor, of course.
You have to have the laughter. Yeah. So what happens after that? What does the emotional piece kind of fit into that after that?
So I got to tell you, after, pausing, it's really getting into a lot of curiosity about, what are the patterns that parents are noticing. And a lot of the patterns, like they think automatically that we're talking about what foods are eaten and how much, and, the portions, the consistency, when, that sort of thing. And while that is something that we can definitely take in that information, I'm actually encouraging them to look at the patterns of emotions. So when we start shifting to, from thinking about the eating, like what it is that we're actually eating, to the actual reasons why we're eating, well, that's where we kind of open up the discussions about emotions. Well, I'm eating because I'm hungry. Okay. I'm eating because I'm tired, because I'm frustrated, because I'm bored, because I didn't realize that I was eating, the distraction that was going on. So really getting curious about, well, what else is going on, either in the environment or the internal environment with the emotions. And that is a huge thing that we really look at, that the patterns, get curious about it for an extended period of time, because it's something that we're not used to. We're used to saying, okay, that's the problem, I want to go and fix it. And so really getting curious more and more, asking more questions like, what else do you notice? What else is possible? Like, what could be going on here? Like, there's a number of different questions asking about the parent's experience, as well as what they believe is going on for their child. If you notice, it wasn't necessarily about saying and asking their child what they were experiencing. I firmly believe that the work that we do is most powerful when parents do it. When we are first like really tapping into our own emotional states, really getting curious about what's going on. And then it gets so easy. So easy. I'm not even saying so much easier. It gets really easy to be able to start connecting with our kids, to take a really good guess about what they're experiencing. And then we confirm it we name it. And you know what? Kids will let us know right away if we are totally on it or if we are in the wrong ballpark. And that's, that's really the next thing then. It's actually, naming emotions, naming them, not saying, okay, I don't have the time for this. I don't have the experience with it. Actually leaning into it and saying, yeah, we're going to name these emotions now. What are you feeling? It looks like maybe you're tired right now. What do you need?
Yeah, I think that's an amazing skill to have and to be able to do that because it's not something that people, I think, it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people.
How much is natural versus if it's something where it's just we've been so trained to not do it. So I question that because little kids are really awesome at letting us know exactly what's going on. There's really no question. They may not have the words to describe their emotions, but they sure are not hiding them. There's no filtering whatsoever. And so that's where I find myself questioning that whole natural part. I think that young children are the most natural people
Right. So
we
yes, maybe
have.
natural isn't the right word. So it's more like it's almost been trained out of us in a way
Yeah.
where it's just socially accepted, maybe, or
Yeah, there's so much
not sure what the right word
socialization
is.
that we have. And I think a lot of this, the work that I have done myself, a lot of the work that I'm inviting, parents to do, a lot of it is unlearning. And it's unlearning what we think it needs to look like, unlearning social norms that just don't work for us. But we somehow think that that means that there's something wrong with us. It's just that we're trying to box ourselves in or we're being boxed in by norms that just don't work.
So what have you found? What's been the most surprising thing you've found working with families and doing this work with families?
Wow, most surprising. That's a question I have not been asked before. I'd say, yes, I will answer. I'd say that the work is fun.
Mm.
And I think that that's something where it's not just about surprising for me, but surprising for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you hear emotional health, it's like, no, that's
Like people don't
icky.
want to be like, oh, sign me up. I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. But, I think that that's really been something that it's surprising, but it's also what why I know that I am uniquely created for this space to do this work. And so I bring in humor and comedy. And it's funny, I was talking to some friends recently and they're like, we don't understand what you do. We don't know. Do you do mental health? Do you do weight? Do you do improv? I'm like, yes, yes, it is actually all of this. But that part about bringing in humor and, comedy and infusing it, it's to be able to make emotions less scary.
Mm.
And we are, flexing our muscles. We are building social emotional skills while it feels like we're playing. We are actually playing, but we're building those muscles along the way. It's actually fun. And so like really kind of like I want to shout that out from the from the mountaintops, like we can have fun playing with emotions. And it's not poking fun.
No.
It's not that kind of fun. It's in the way of saying we're just experimenting. Just like with kids, when you go out and you play, you're like, I don't have any kind of set idea of what it needs to look like. I'm just playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we do with emotions. Oh my goodness. I have one of those like spin to win wheels. And like when you go up to like a health fair and you yeah, so much fun. Well, I've got 14 different emotions on my spin to win wheel.
That's cool.
And we just start playing games with. I've created a whole bunch of games and it works for family members of all ages. The thing is that while they're spinning it, I start asking them about their favorite food because everybody will talk about food. They start telling me about their favorite food. And then I start asking them how they could possibly feel, whatever this emotion is that is, that they've just won.
Yeah.
How they could possibly feel that way. when they have the plate of their favorite food here.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, the stories come out. There is all sorts of, I mean, the things people will say. I'm not even going to say kids right now. The things people will say is unbelievable. And sometimes they don't know, like, you have your favorite food and they get the word disgust.
Right.
And they're like, inconceivable. Like, that can't
Yeah.
do it. Like, okay, how could someone else feel disgust about this food? And so, like, just kind of messing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right or wrong answer, which is, oh my goodness, something I say all the time, and it blows people's mind. Because as soon as we start talking about, health and what's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
there's always this like subtext of you got to get the right answer.
Right.
It's either healthy or unhealthy. No,
Mm-hmm.
we're tossing all that aside. We're just playing here. And so I feel like a barker when I'm at these different events. I'm like, I've got a magic trick. I've got a magic trick for you. And kids come up and they're like, what's your magic trick? I'm like, well, you start spinning.
Yeah.
And then as we're talking, the parents are like, I'm like, you know what the magic trick is, don't you? They're like, you got my kid talking about emotions. I'm like, got it. There's the winner right there. And so it's
Hilarious.
having fun. It's
Yeah.
playing. It's letting go of all of these
Mm-hmm.
rules.
Yeah.
And I mean, how much of the feeding and growing of healthy families right now is all about rules.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? That's not working for you. I got a new set of rules. This is what you should do. Ugh, it's not working for anybody.
Yeah. Well, it sounds amazing. I want to come spin your wheel.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I actually don't have one here. This is so funny.
Oh,
Oh, they're all out in the garage right now. But you need to come to Virginia
okay.
and spin my wheel of emotions.
Sounds fun. All right. Well, how can people learn more about what you do and find out about, how to possibly work with you?
Oh, I invite you to please come on over, check out my website. So I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes for
Oh,
spelling purposes, but
yes.
it's just Wendy Schofer MD and that .com. And that's where you're going to find out about my Family in Focus programs. And I it's all there on the website. I love having a website. It's like the shingle. You can just say, just look for this. But you'll find out about my free workshops, about signing up for the newsletter. Again, the exhale. I mean, there's nothing like getting an exhale in the middle of the week. Why not?
Sounds great to me.
You do not have to wait to the end of the week for that. But also with my group program, which is actually going to be kicking off in September. And so
Oh,
I'm
wow.
really looking forward to the new version that's coming out. It is
Yeah.
going to be amazing.
Wow. It does sound incredible. And I'm sure you'll be helping so many families. I have no doubt.
Thank you so very much. I welcome them all.
Sounds amazing. Okay, well, is there anything more before we sign off that you wanted to share? Perhaps a little bit of your stand-up routine or any other last pieces of wisdom. I'll
So I
invite
tell you
you.
what, how about this? I'll share something with you. So the stand-up routine is not ready for prime time. And that's
Okay.
also why I love doing improv, by the way,
I did
because
put you on the spot with that one.
I don't have to memorize a thing. It is all made up. And just, kind of highlighting that, we are all making it up
Mm,
all along the way. And
yeah.
so one of the things that you'll find on my website is that I have a course that's called Improv Your Health, which is all about taking, the lessons from improv, not to perform on stage, but to be able to use in our real lives. And
Mm,
so improving relationships and communication. Like one of the things in improv is about the first rule, always make your partner look good.
mm,
Well, who's your partner at dinner? who's your partner when you're driving, to work, or when you're on your business call or whatever it is, and really looking at how we can use those rules all along the way. It is amazing bringing that into conversations with families, because I actually teach workshops for families about using these tools as well to improve communication and relationships. Well, who's your partner when you're having dinner at night? And it's amazing hearing kids talking about the partnership with their brother, their sister, their parents. And then we start doing games about how you just build off of how each other, how you're communicating together. So we start telling one word stories where every person gets to contribute one word at a time.
Yes.
And of course, you have to listen to what the other people are saying so that your word actually makes sense. So you're collaborating all along the way. It's beautiful. Again, these are social emotional skills. Totally not icky. It's just playing. We're totally just playing, and we're building relationships together. So there you go. Had nothing to do with weight. And that's the thing. It never does. It never has anything to do with the weight or the food.
Yeah.
It's about building relationships.
So wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a delight. And I'm sure, as I said, my listeners, I'm sure, have gotten lots of little gems from this conversation. And it's great to see the work you're doing. So thank you for everything.
Thank you so very much. I look forward to having you in my neck of the woods next.
Great. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's it for another episode of Essential Wellness. If you are enjoying listening to this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share with others so everyone can find us. See you next time.